Okay, so now I'm going to end. We are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I'm trying to go live on Instagram. I think it's working. Amazing. We are live. Hello and welcome to Levels Without Limits. I am Amanda Marino, owner of Next Level Recovery Associates and AmandaMarinoSpeaks.com. And I am so excited to have Stefanos here today. We've been, chatting and trying to plan this for a bit. And I always really value and appreciate people's time. And just like, I honor that. And I thank you for taking time out of your life to be here with me and share a message. I like to get quality content out there and provide great information. And I've, followed you for a bit and I just love your work. So tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from and how you kind of got to where you are today.
Yeah, I'm half Greek, half Italian, grew up largely in Australia, a little bit in Greece. I've been living in the US now for a number of years. US I call home. It's a wonderful place to be for so many different reasons. I've been in the personal transformation space for about 25 years, started pretty young, and have just evolved the practice and the service and the way that I teach or work with clients over the years. But I spent a lot of time working with high performers, individuals from all walks of life, everyday people, CEOs, leaders, elite athletes, elite level fighters, world champion fighters, Olympians, gold medalists, military personnel. I work with, the last probably 10 or so years, been working a lot with couples as well. And again, just really working with that individual that considers themselves to be a high performer and has created a lot of external success and even material success, material wealth in their life. And even, on the surface, looks like they have everything together. Yes. Yet on the inside, they suffer. They empty success syndrome or sudden success syndrome, and they just don't know really what to do with themselves. And so they just keep creating the world to try and fill a gap that can't be filled with the externalities. Absolutely. And ultimately just really working with people that have experienced intensity in their lives, usually in their childhoods, and that has forged a great life for them, again, on the outside, but on the inside, they feel really broken.
Absolutely. Well, so we work with similar clientele, but ours specifically are, at my company, Next Level, they're struggling with like mental illness and substance use or eating disorders or failure to launch. So very similar, but probably a little bit, like definitely high performers are, also athletes and, famous people, but more just with something that they're struggling with, that's what we do. But so you started this 20 years ago, you said?
25. I've been doing this since I was 18.
Wow. So what that's okay. So I want to dig into that. Like what got you into that at 18 years old? I mean, I was like kind of a mess until about 26. And I was like, okay, time to grow up.
Well, I was still a mess. I thought, I had this belief that if I can help people, it would quote unquote fix me, help others to help self. But it was all unconscious, so I wasn't really going anywhere with it. I mean, I was definitely helping others, but I wasn't really helping myself. I was digging myself a deeper, unprocessed and unresolved trauma hole, if you like. I think that the honest answer to that is I figured out from a very young age, if I can help people, I can be safe. And if I can help people, then I'm worth something. So I think that was a large unconscious impetus. And also then, that coupled with just a very genuine curiosity for human potential and human behavior and the way that we relate to each other and work with difficulty and challenge. And then later on, not only did that become part of my life and it became a habit, but it really became a passion and still is. It's interesting. I worked with 2 new clients yesterday, actually in person. And it just reminded me, not that I'd lost my spark for it at all, but just it reminded me how beautiful this work is and that I don't need to, and I don't come from the place of, hey, if I help people, I'm going to be safer. And if I help people, I'm worth something. I do it from a very different place now, but it's taken me many years to get to that place.
Absolutely. Well, you were so young when you started, of course you had to evolve and grow. But it's beautiful. I also I wake up every day and I spend time in silence and pray and say, please let me help someone today. Help me help to show up as the best version of myself. And I do relate to also, trying to fix everybody else and take care of everybody else. It's a distraction from working on your core issues. And I come from like massive childhood trauma, so it's definitely easy for me to take care of others and not work on me. But I've definitely done a lot of work over the years too. So I really love that. And then I've seen some videos with you and your wife. And I know you work with people with, like lasting relationships. So can you share some about that?
Yeah. So my wife, before we met each other, we were doing very similar work in the world. And so when we got together, it was a natural progression that we'd work together. We didn't immediately, of course, but, not soon thereafter, we started teaching together and putting programs together, and just it's a really beautiful part of the work we do. We both very much enjoy it, working with couples particularly. And it's not to say that, our relationship is perfect by any means, or that we have it all together. We definitely don't. But, we're very committed to and very willing to continue to work on on self and on our relationship, and evolve that in the best way possible. And, keep leaning into what is the other showing us about ourselves,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sort of a synopsis on that work that we do. Yeah. And we won't always work with people. We work with couples from all different stages of their own development. Some couples are coming to us saying, hey, we're very clear, we are separating and divorcing, and we want to do this in the most amicable way and with love and consciousness, and can you support us with that? And then there's other people that come to us saying, hey, we're in a really difficult spot. We don't know whether we should separate or stay together, and we want some support. And then others will come to us and say, hey, we're in a really great place and we just want to keep up leveling. What does that look like?
I love all of that. That's just purely beautiful. And I remember in my divorce, I read that there was a book about like leaving the divorce. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but like leaving the relationship peacefully with love. And it really was helpful to me. And I used to have great relationships with my exes. So if you're my ex and we don't have a good relationship, that's not because of me. Because I even like my business partner that I had for years, he's still my best friend. And relationships are not easy in all capacities, human, like you saying, like, I love how you're just like saying, yes, I have a good, healthy relationship with my wife, but it's not perfect, right? Nobody's is. And online, many people portray that things are perfect. Like I try to keep it real and be honest that like, sometimes I'm not okay. And that's okay. So what would you say are the core pillars of lasting relationships?
Oh, yeah. It's a great question. So I would say, number one is going to be, safety before intimacy. And so like, if we're talking about lasting relationship, we're talking about a relationship that endures challenge, endures difficulty, stands the test of time, isn't so constantly triggered. The individuals aren't so constantly triggered that the relationship collapses. Lasting relationships are about feeding the relationship itself and treating it as a living, breathing entity. And what you feed it, it becomes, right? So let's just get some definition around a lasting relationship, because it's not just about being together, but being miserable and hating each other. It's about being together and wanting to grow and consistently cultivating love and care for each other and for the relationship itself, right? And really nourishing and nurturing that vehicle for growth.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And pure. And like when you've been through the ringer with relationships, like having a grounding, like you're sharing, like I had to learn a lot of those things the hard way.
Yeah. Most of us do, I hear.
Now I won't accept anything less, than those. So if I'm to write I'm going to put it in the comments. So if people are curious, for the 4 pillars are.
Yes. Safety before intimacy. And so what that looks like is, closeness and intimacy and care and affection and love and energy exchange, sexuality in its purest form, where it's not coming from shadow. It doesn't exist if a nervous system is in defense. And so you have to create safety in the relationship. And to be able to create safety in the relationship, you have to be able to create safety within yourself. And it's not about avoiding conflict. It's about meeting challenge with reverence and respect and curiosity and compassion, right? It's about knowing that conflict doesn't equal danger, and so that you don't cause more separation in the heat of conflict when it occurs. And that's really shadow stuff that lives within the self. That, for example, you're having an argument and you're an avoidant personality, right? And so the first thing you want to do is leave. You want to just disappear. But that's your nervous system not feeling safe because you haven't done the inner work to be able to regulate yourself and meet the person with curiosity and compassion, ask for what you need in a healthy way, make requests, and really be able to listen, right? Like seeking to understand each other is so important. I'll get to that one in a moment, but safety is essentially built through consistency, integrity, and the willingness. This is an important part, the willingness to repair. And so you basically say, hey, I'm not going to always get it right, but I'm always going to return to connection. But you've got to be able to trust that I'm going to return to connection. You've got to show that, right? And that return isn't about perfection. It's about return. Like I'm going to come back and I'm going to honor you as best I can. I'm going to honor myself, and I'm committed to that.
And that consistency builds the trust.
Correct. Yeah. And I think to the second point, which is radical responsibility, right? So when you take radical responsibility for your shadow, for your pain body, for your fears, for your projections, for your judgments, for the way you shame yourself and then shame your partner, because that happens, right? Lasting love demands maturity. And if you can't seek to understand yourself and the other through radical responsibility, and seeking to understand could be its own principle. It probably should be actually its own pillar, if you like. But if we focus on radical responsibility, it means that you're not blaming your partner for what you're feeling. Like you're looking within yourself and you're saying, like this is my historical context that's influencing the present moment. Like I'm owning my trigger and I'm looking at my trigger as a teacher, and it's showing me something about me. That doesn't mean that you're going to accept poor behavior from your partner. It just means you're not going to lash back out at them. You're not going to vomit at them. You're not going to be reactive to them. And you're going to get really curious about what's living within you, right? And so when triggers become teachers, they become reflections of essentially of unintegrated pain and trauma, right? And not evidence of your partner being an enemy. Meaning that it's more about you than it is about them. Again, doesn't excuse poor behavior. It doesn't mean you can't make requests, but it does mean that the first port of call is looking within yourself when you're so highly activated with something. So again, like when two people take
and being able to own your stuff, like those are big things.
Yeah. You got to stop trying to change each other and essentially start creating growth and safety together, right? It's not about changing the other person. Again, it doesn't mean you can't make requests and you can't ask for change in behavior, but it's not about them. You make it about you. That's radical responsibility.
That's where it all comes from, right? Our reactions, our responses, our things, they shape, we learn the most about ourselves in relationships. And about, what things that, like you're saying, trigger us, past traumas, things that we are not willing to tolerate, or things that we are willing to work through. Like we learn so much about ourselves in relationships and all relationships, friendships,
for sure.
Family members, and the partnership. It's definitely. I love all of that you're sharing. It's definitely resonating with me. I have the best partner I've ever had in my life, and I feel so blessed. And I'm a Swiftie, so I feel like I'm Taylor Swift, and I got my Travis Kelce.
My daughter loves Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I didn't love her as much as I do until I went to her show in London and with my friend, and then I started reading her lyrics and the poetry. She's in her era now where she's being loved, how she's always wanted to be loved. So those sad songs now are the past, all the heartbreak and stuff like that. And then, but those are also really important to experience. I think like heartbreak changes you. It teaches you so much about yourself.
I think life and love change us if we allow it to. If we allow life to impact us, in positive, constructive ways, then it can. And for so many, we don't allow it to impact us. And if we do, we often allow it to impact us very negatively. And so we don't really grow from those really rich experiences.
Yeah. So like what, like, is there anything certain that you may recommend to people that you're working with? Like, obviously they're doing work with you, but then there's also things that you practice outside of, the time together. Do you recommend like certain things, like to connect, like, well, I don't know, like date nights or, you know, practicing certain thing? Like, what are the things that you recommend?
Yeah, there are many practices that it really depends on what the couple is moving through. There's look, I think spending intentional quality time together in varied settings, doing fun things, being out in the world, being out with other friends, being in hobbies and practices and things that you love doing, like bowling or archery or watching a movie or reading together or walking on the beach, making love, having sex, like all those things are really important. Like quality time that's intentional is
Yes.
going to be, pretty much a staple where you're learning each other's nervous systems, really getting curious about each other's past, about each other's behavioral patterns, like understanding how each other tick, what makes you you, and then knowing each other's hurt and wounds and not using that or weaponizing that against each other, but knowing that so that you can really be compassionate with each other and see that little girl or boy that lives within that person when they're triggered or when they're upset, to bring more compassion and love into the relationship is a great practice. So, you get to ask questions of each other. You get to know that part, that shade of the personality that lives in maybe some shame, or that is really shy, or that moves with trepidation, or has fears around certain things, or get to know each other's quirks, not just the convenient parts of each other. That's always useful. And then, doing things together where you're moving towards something. And so
Mm.
that could be, I don't know, it could be an adventure race that you're doing together. So you train together and you build together and you map it out, the journey together, or traveling somewhere together, or building a legacy or wealth or a family together, whatever. But you're doing something together that's bigger than just you as an individual, bigger than the relationship as well.
Yes.
In those moments, like an adventure race isn't going to be per se bigger than the relationship, but you're focused on something external to both of you that you're feeding. And so that's really useful as well. I mean, there are so many.
Depends on the, I know it's a very open-ended question. There's so many, but I'm someone who, in the work that I do, I'm very aware of like my child, my adolescent part, and my adult part. Like I can fully like be like, okay, that is my little girl. Oh, that is my little rebellious adolescent coming out, and I can definitely relate to that. And I think, the quality time and something that's big in our relationship is we like to surprise each other with things, like, which is fun, and take intentional time. And it's just, it's a blessing, to have, like, for me, after all I had been through, I told my partner, before we move in together, you have to go to therapy and we have to go to therapy together. And I think that was like a healthy, like, the request, before we move in, we got to, even though there's no problems, but let's do it.
Yeah, I think the one of the best times to actually work on your relationship is when there aren't any chaotic, immediate, or crisis, emergency happening. Right? I think that's very useful. Actually, again, like, I'd be very cautious of the place within self that it comes from. If it comes from, deep fear and mistrust, then that can be challenging. And also depends on your therapist, your coach, or your teacher. It's there are many factors that make a difference, but the simple intention of, hey, I want to expand our relationship and just grow, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, connecting, like a commitment to connecting on a spiritual level. Like, that's so pure and beautiful. I absolutely love that. And so, do you work with people all over the world?
Yeah, different cultures, different places, different countries. Yeah.
Awesome. We work all over the world as well, and have people in place ready to go, to move in with someone, to do whatever it takes to help people, and, like, the mental health realm. I figured you did, because you lived in Australia, which I did. What did you live in Western Australia by chance?
I did. Yeah, I grew up in Fremantle.
Okay, so Esperance is like a bucket list trip for me.
Esperance is a beautiful place.
I mean, the fact that you're in crystal clear water and there's whales, like, that to me is a dream. So I follow a gentleman, Jamie and Hudson, on Instagram, and he just makes beautiful videos of of all the sea life and the clear water in Esperance. And it's like, I'm dying to go swim with a whale there.
What's his name?
Jamie and Hudson. He's a quadriplegic man, and he does everything with a drone. And then he has cute pictures of like his family, and it's just beautiful, like what he was able to create, you know, from his wheelchair, and it's beautiful. He puts it to nice music. He shows camping pictures of the family on the beach. It's just the cutest thing. So, yeah. So what is something you would recommend to someone who, you know, we talked about like the beginning, like the safety before intimacy, the willingness to prepare, radically take responsibility, create growth and safety. Life and love change us is what I've added. So if someone is, you know, maybe in a questionable place in their relationship, like where would you recommend some, like, I know this is also very broad because there's so many different versions, but what are some things that people can do if they're questioning if they're still in or not, or they want to, you know, stay or go? Like you said, some of the people come to you are in that place.
Well, if I was to give you another pillar or principle, I would say emotional transparency. So if you're feeling stuck in the relationship, then at the very least, be emotionally transparent with yourself, right? Because you're going to feel suffocated. Love doesn't, and nor it cannot breathe in hidden spaces. And if you're hiding from a difficult conversation, from your truth, etc., you're probably living in some kind of shame and or fear, right? So transparency means revealing the truth of your experience. And if you can reveal the truth of your experience to yourself at the very least, like get into deep contact with that, you're going to have a better time communicating what your needs are and where you really want the relationship to go, right? And again, like you're communicating, you're revealing the truth of your experience, not as a weapon, but as a bridge, like as a bridge to truth, like truth is a bridge to truth. Truth is a bridge to connection. Truth is a bridge to deeper transformation. Like this is what is alive within me right now. This is what I'm owning. This is what I'm needing. These are my requests. These are my observations.
Standing in your truth, I call it.
Yeah, and it's importantly, it's vulnerability without collapse. Like you're not playing a victim. You're not sharing so that you can be felt sorry for. You're not being vulnerable to manipulate. You're not doing it because you think that's what they want. You're doing it because it's the truth. Like, and without attack, you're doing it with non-judgment and compassion.
Yeah.
And most relationships fail not because there's too much emotion, but because emotions are either masked, like disguised, withheld, or weaponized against each other, right? And that's where projections and judgments come in. And so emotional transparency is going to really be useful, not only as a core principle for lasting relationships, but it's going to be really useful when you feel stuck in the relationship and you're not sure what you want, where you want to go, etc. And then, the other thing I would say to that is seek external help. Like get a support network or system or person that can see the forest through the trees when you can't, so that they can give you insight into what you're not able to touch within yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I definitely reach out for support and help in any decisions with things like that. Like I am just learned to run things by, people I trust or professionals I work with. And I think that's a great place, is go to someone, like reach out to you. It's just trying to figure out those things on your own. Like I had a session with couples, and it was a little bit different dynamic, not just like couples. There's couples therapists, individual therapists, and then me and my team, and just kind of, there was some animosity like for 10 years and like, vile things said back and forth, and things in front of the children, and just a sit down conversation of like, how, like, do you want to continue this way? Do you want to, and it was a beautiful resolve, and we're already seeing some good things and have great plans for both of them put in place. There was some substances involved in the past, but there aren't now. So like it's, for me, I can't imagine being in a relationship where I argued every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's damaging to the soul.
Yeah. I mean, and equally as damaging is when you're really distant in the relationship.
Yeah. I'm not an avoidant. I am a secure attachment. My friends tell me I'm like, a rare The only time I ever became a little bit anxious was being with an avoidant.
They tend to bring it out in you.
Yeah, I didn't understand it, and it was like so foreign to me that I was so confused, you know? So how long have you been, is it your wife? You guys married?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you guys been together?
We have been together since, so a little over 7 years, about nearly 7.5 years, 7.25 years, something. Oh, 7.5 years.
Beautiful. And you have children together or separate?
Yes. No, we have one child together, and
Nice.
she's about 3.5.
That's such a cute age.
Yeah,
My son is about to turn 20.
Oh, wow.
And my daughter just turned 13, which is loads
Wow.
but I got to, I come from, really nothing, I've had to work my tail off to come from living off of food stamps and WIC and unemployment and things like that to figure out how to pay my bills when I was a single mom to, I just came back from Asia. I took my son to Thailand for his graduation present. He graduated in 24, but and then I got to do my TEDx in the Philippines. So, nice. But I remember that age like it was yesterday. And they say it goes like this. Like I see his face, and he's a 6'4" man, and he's going to fire school, and I'm so proud of all the things he's done. But I still look at him like my little baby. It doesn't change. So
yeah, I think I'll always see my little girl like that. I can't see it changing either.
Yeah. I mean, my ex-husband, who's my dear friend, he has a son that's 30, and then our daughter who's 13. He always envisioned and dreamed of having a little girl, but just never thought it was really going to happen. So he's gaga over her. She can do no wrong to him.
Yeah, I hear. I struggle sometimes to set healthy boundaries.
She'll go to his house and he doesn't make her lift a finger, and then she comes here and there's chores and there's expectations. She's like, what? I'm like, you need to give her some chores over there so she's not in shock when she comes here. But yeah, parenting changes you, changes you as a person, and also changes relationships. And sometimes it strengthens people, as I've seen, and sometimes it gets confusing because, sometimes mothers don't know how to love the child and the partner in the beginning. And then sometimes it brings a disconnect. So that's another important time to reach out for help and support.
Yeah, and just be really intentional and notice where your energy is going, because having children and starting a family in that way, it's no joke, and it can be a real strain on the relationship and the connection and the way that you connect, and it's another season of change, right? And humans for the most part, I think we're very paradoxical creatures. In some ways, we're exceptionally remarkable in dealing with change and being very resilient. Mm-hmm. And then in other ways, we're, for all intents and purposes, we're very poor at dealing with change, especially emotional, relational change. And so, and I think, we've softened as a society as well over the years, and for better or worse. And when I say soften, I don't mean that in a constructive, positive way, like softening our hearts and surrendering and opening. I mean, we're becoming a little weak,
yes,
and lazy and overindulgent, and that's I'm making collective blanket statement here, right? But
overstimulated too, with everything now.
Sure. Way overstimulated. Yeah.
Today I felt extremely overstimulated, and thank God I know how to self-regulate.
Yeah.
Because it was too much.
Yeah, and so it's just. I think it's really important now more than ever that we face our stuff, and we lean into each other in really productive ways, and we use the vehicle of relationship as a tool for growth. We're relational beings, why wouldn't we lean on each other and just stay in the conflict, but in a healthy way, not in a narcissistic or self-absorbed or I don't know, even sadistic way, but just stay in it because there's growth through that challenge.
Or the avoidant part, like that's part two. That's another one. Yeah, no, I definitely I love all this. I could talk about this like all day long. This is amazing. Let me think of what else I can ask you. You live in California, you work internationally, you have a beautiful little girl, I'm assuming. She's beautiful. So you've gone through a lot of the things and changes like within, that's actually recent for you. Sometimes I do see a struggle with the when the mom gets postpartum, like the awareness and things like that are not there, and that's really difficult, but it's, listen, we can get through it. And like you just said, it's hard. Nobody tells you when you dream of like having a family and having kids and whatnot, how hard it is. It is hard, with your partner, without your whatever. It's just not, and it's the hardest, most fantastic job I've ever had in my life. Like I love being a mom, and I never thought that when I was younger. I never thought I'd be a mom. Like it's my favorite thing.
I love hearing that. It's amazing. I mean, I think being a parent, whether you're a father or a mother, and in its different ways, is the greatest. And I love my work. Right? Like I love everything I do and my creativity and my entrepreneurial mind. But being a father, being a parent is one of the greatest honors, the greatest honor that exists for me. I cry nearly every day looking at my daughter and just observing her beauty. I'm not talking about her aesthetic physical beauty. I'm talking about the beauty of her innocence, right? Her creativity, her curiosity, the way she focuses when she's trying to color something, or the questions that she asks, or the way she puts sentences together, or the way she's very independent at the moment, that I can do it phase, and the way in which she asks questions, the sweetness of her voice, and just everything. It's just, I'm in awe of her.
It's so pure and beautiful, and like it blows your mind sometimes. You're like, oh my god, my 3.5-year-old just said that to me. Like, how does she even know? The awareness. I used to watch both, like maybe a little creepy to them, but I used to watch both of them sleep, and I would see this,
it's beautiful.
Like spiritually, I would see this kind of like on both of them, like this iridescent kind of glow around them as they slept, and I'm like there's something angelic and pure and spiritual about them. Like my son came, I had him very young. And so like he came into our lives to like save me, I got on a good path after I had him, saved, there was a lot of loss before while I was pregnant and before. So he just kind of like saved the world. And I listen, he's almost 20 and he's never tried alcohol or nicotine.
It's great.
Yeah. You know what I had done before 20? I don't want to know. I did anything to get outside myself, and I'm grateful that I found another path and another way of life. And so what do you do for your personal work? Because I know, like, for me, it's important for the people that us that want to help others for a living and give so much of ourselves that we have to fill our own cup. So what are some things that you do for self-care?
I have some staples in my life. So sitting in stillness is really important for me, just on a daily basis. Can I just sit in some stillness and breathe slow and just be? Doesn't matter where I am,
Mm-hmm.
Going to the beach and being in the ocean, if not daily, almost daily, is very important to me. Being in nature.
Do you feel a calling? Like I have to
Yes.
go. I get the
Yes.
same. My mom lives on the beach, so I'm blessed. But I get a calling, and I'm like, I just have to go submerge in the ocean right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm very fortunate. I'm very close to the ocean. So, I just hop on my bike and I just go down, and it's really special for me. I grew up on the ocean, by the ocean. It's just an important part of my life. Exercise on a daily basis, without doubt, that's part of my self-care.
Releases so many, like what it does for your mental health is, exercise of all sorts are just, it's so helpful for the mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Very. I like to read. Um, and of course, spend time with people that I love. I think I
Mhm.
feel very blessed, like the work that I do in the world, the businesses that I'm involved in, the people that I really want to spend time with, my family, I mean, yeah, again, I feel very blessed. For the most part, 90 something percent of the time, 99, 90 something percent of the time, I'm doing, breakfast with my family. I'm doing dinner with my family, bedtime routine with my family, for my little girl. Unless I'm away, I very, very rarely miss any of that.
That is amazing. I love
Yeah.
that. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, definitely important to my circle, anyone. So I set some boundaries a couple years for myself of anyone that wasn't super happy for me and cheering for me and was like not supporting my growth and success because of whatever was going on with them, that I was no longer accepting that in my life. And since then, years ago, every single person that has come into my life has been golden. And like I keep a small circle of like, friends. But like just the people I do business with, the people I meet, like I get to spend this time with you. Like there's not one person who's come into my life that has been, not on high frequency and like have done their work and is supporting and doesn't think like my shine doesn't take away from your shine, your shine. We're just adding to each other's shine in this moment, right? Like we're like nothing can take away from my me. I can't take anything away from you, and a lot of I found that for a period of my life I was surrounded by that, and it was damaging to me. I was confused. I'm like, but like if you want to grow too, come with me. Come with me.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection of our self-worth, who we surround. If we're surrounding ourselves with people that disregard us or don't celebrate us, it's more of a reflection of the way we actually see ourselves in unconscious ways. I think you making that decision is a testament to the way in which you started to value yourself in a deeper way.
Thank you. Yeah, it felt like that. It felt painful, obviously, at
Of
first
course.
because
Yeah.
I I'm an sexual abuse survivor. As a child,
Mm.
my sister was abducted in front of me.
Oh man, it's
The country,
horrible.
and I watched my mom, get abused, physically abused. So,
Oh,
going through all that, I get when I always said, once I love you and care for you and you're in my heart, you're not going anywhere forever. And I can still have a version of that, but like from afar. Like I don't wish anyone like anything but the best. Like anyone that's ever been in my life, like I hope that they grow, they heal, they have a beautiful life. Like I don't have any resentments, but at first it really really hurt because I don't understand that, like not supporting your friends. I just don't get it.
yeah. I mean, I bring that back to belongingness. Our need to belong is so strong within every human. I
Mm,
actually think I'm pretty certain that's what I'm going to write my next book on, is going to be just belongingness, and I'm going to really get into the weeds and the depths of all the ways in which we seek to belong, like all the destructive behaviors that we engage in are really a cry for wanting and needing to belong. And we will even become addicted to groups that are unhealthy and toxic for us just to belong because it's familiar and it feels safe, and then, when we have really strong values around supporting each other, and because that's something that you want in your life, and
yeah,
you're not met in that way, it can be really hurtful.
yeah, it definitely is. And we have to find our people, and then people can change and things can shift. And that was a really hard concept for me to get. Now I truly, deep in my soul, trust that who comes in my life is meant to and who leaves is meant to, and I don't fight it anymore. I mean, if it's somebody that's like worth, like having conversation and trying to repair, yes. But certain ones, like it comes clear, like for their benefit, it's probably best, and for my benefit, it's probably best. And I wish them the best. Like no hard feelings. But I used to get heartbroken. I was more heartbroken until a few years ago by friendships than I was by any man.
Yeah, I hear you.
the attachment, the don't go anywhere, don't love me forever, I'll love you forever. Like that's not realistic. That's that little girl, my little girl that wanted to just have people stay and not hurt me, and just not realistic, which is okay.
Yeah, I think part of I mean, it at some point it needs to be okay, otherwise we just can perpetually suffer. But the disappointment, even more so from friends, can be, at least I'll speak for myself, right? I think this might be relatable to some people, is I use my friendship groups as a means to escape, very genuinely, like I fell in love with my friends from a young age to escape my very violent, volatile upbringing. And whenever I experience disappointment in my friends group, which is inevitable, like we're all human having our own experience and moving through the world with our own selfish hurt needs as well,
Yes.
it would be devastating to me. Like it was the biggest thing ever. It was bigger than anything because I'd put so much weight on the value of those friendship groups. And it wasn't that they didn't have that value. It's the way in which I put that extra pressure and value on them. And so until I really learned that I can't expect anything from anyone, and nor should I. And I can't set people up to experience so much pressure because of my unconscious agreements or needs. And then the dynamics of that relationship changed. They became healthier. They became lighter. They became even more reliable and more trustworthy, but without such intense attachment. And that was really helpful for me.
Yeah, I love that. Or you're sensitive like I am, and you're not scared to say it, and I love that. That's like, I feel like men who can be emotionally vulnerable and have the gentleness is like being in my opinion, being like a real man, like, and connected with yourself, like the macho machismo, like I don't feel anything, I don't know, like that to me is not masculine. Like I want a man that can cry. I want a man that, like, can feel deeply and share what they're feeling. Like that's what is healthy for me.
Yeah, I think access to the deepest parts of ourselves is necessary and very healthy, and I think we all need to have access to that for so many very important reasons. And when we do, the nature and the quality of our relationships do change. That's the emotional transparency pillar we were speaking to before. They evolve for the better, for sure.
Yeah. What is your website? I wanted to put it on here because I know you've written books, and I want people to be find your books, be able to find you online.
Yeah. I've got my next my book, with my first book, I should say, I've written a book before, but my first published book with Hay House is coming out in February 3rd, 2026. But my website's stefanos.com.
Sorry, can you tell me how to spell that?
Yeah, I'll put it here.
Are you able to write in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, in the private chat. Okay. I'm just gonna copy and paste it.
Oh, sorry. I can put it in comments. I didn't even see that. Yeah.
I didn't know if you could, but I'm gonna move it over there.
I think I can. Oh, no, I can't.
And now I can't get it over here. Okay, hold on. Copy and paste. And your Instagram
is I'll put that here as well for you.
Where is the comments? Okay, here we go. I mean, I can also share these things after.
Sure.
So congratulations. Hay House is an amazing publisher. That's badass.
Yeah. I feel very blessed. They're the largest self-help publisher in the world. They're owned by Penguin Random House, which is the largest publisher in the world, and they're a great team to work with. They're fantastic. Thus far, it's been really good. So I'm really excited for the book. It's going to explore so much of, we've only just touched the surface.
Wow.
But it goes really deep, and it's a very practical handbook as well.
That's amazing and incredible, and that's a big thing. I had a choice. I made a decision 2 years ago to work towards a TED Talk, and then book after. And I know some people do opposite. Like some people don't even care to do a TED Talk, but like for me, it was like really, it's just something I always dreamed of doing, making an impact and hopefully helping one person with my talk. on YouTube and one person that was in the audience. And I'm going to send it to you after, if you have 12 minutes,
Sure.
you can watch it. Yeah. And I think that would be like a dream to be published by Hay House. I think a lot of the people that I follow, I mean, like that I read their books are published from them. And so they do a great job. So congratulations. And please let me know when it comes out so I can promote it and share your stuff. And
Yeah, you can.
anything like any in-person thing, like a book for book launch or no?
Yeah, for sure. I'll be doing a couple of different. I'll just send you a couple of links here. But yes, I will be doing a book launch, and I'm just going to put another link here for you as well. I will be doing a book launch in January at some stage, and I'm working all those details out now.
Awesome. Okay, well, let me know those things too.
Yeah.
Are you in a virtual launch too for your international and
Yes.
people?
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Let us see if we can't be there.
Yeah. I'll do a live stream for sure. I spent a couple of years doing breath work for the feminine, which was live in person breath work and somatic work and a somatic experience. And I would live stream that at the same time. So we'd have, anywhere from 50 to 150 people in live, and then there'd be hundreds online as well.
I love breath work and I love somatic work. It is the real deal.
Yeah.
Anyone who doesn't think it is, you need to just go ahead and try it. It's life-changing. So
definitely.
Is there any last words you'd like to share with people today? Besides how I have the links up to follow you and to get in touch with you, and we'll definitely promote your book launch when it comes out. Is there anything you'd like to share before we close?
Yeah, I think in alignment with, being relational and being in deeper relational contact with yourself and with others, I would say hold a shared vision and devotion in any relationship. And it's not about having goals and things that you're working towards, although that's really nice to have that, but it's more about shared meaning. And so you cultivate shared meaning by really learning about each other and wanting to get to know each other and being really willing to look at yourself, to have hard conversations, to open to love more, to move beyond the patterns of your pain. So willingness plays a really important part in that shared vision and devotion. I would just say keep being committed to that, because it's in the presence of another human being that you feel and know that cares for you and loves you, that you are able to just be more of yourself in the world. And that's true freedom.
Yeah, that is touches my heart, and I think can help so many people with everything you said, but that ending can help people if they just follow that, how much their life can change. So thank you for taking, like I said, I honor and cherish people's time. I know time is super valuable, and I just want you to know I had a lovely conversation with you, and I appreciate you, and I relate to so many of the things you've experienced and gone through, and how you show up in the world, and it's pretty awesome. And congratulations again on your book.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Have a
really
good day.
Thank you so much for being on Levels Without Limits. Levels Without Limits. Tonight was the core pillars of lasting relationships. So if you didn't catch it live, it will replay on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And then we have to do it separately for Instagram. So you can follow us, and then please follow my company, Next Level Recovery Associates, which is behind this whole thing, and AmandaMarinoSpeaks.com. And please check out my TED Talk if you haven't, because I want more views. All right. Thank you so much, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you.